One of the most important members of the New York Knicks is Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell was taken with the 36th pick of the 2018 NBA draft, and very quickly into his NBA career, it became clear that Mitch was a second-round steal. He's a 7'1" physical specimen, and in his rookie year, he was able to use those natural gifts to thrive on both ends of the floor. On defense, he was an amazing shot blocker that was agile enough to defend point guards. He even had a game against the Magic in his rookie year where he recorded 8 blocks. And on offense, he was an excellent lob target thanks to that size and athleticism. In his second year, his numbers improved across the board, averaging 10 points and 7 boards a game with an insane 74% field goal percentage. Mitch broke Wilt Chamberlain's record for the highest field goal percentage in NBA history, which goes to show how dominant Mitch is as a finisher in the paint. While Mitch was statistically impressive, he still had a huge flaw that kept him from being a high-quality center, and that was his inability to stay out of foul trouble. But in his third year, Mitch finally seemed to figure it out. He didn't foul out a single time last season, and his foul rate went down. Because he wasn't hacking as much, he was able to stay on the floor more last season, and he played a career-high 28 minutes a game. Mitch established himself as one of the best defensive bigs in the league. He was 4th in the entire league in defensive win shares, and he anchored a Knicks defense that ranked top 5 in the league. Even though Mitch made a nice third-year leap, this was overshadowed by the fact that he couldn't stay healthy. He suffered a hand injury and a foot injury last year, and only played 35 regular season games and missed the entirety of the playoffs. In the Knicks' first-round playoff series against the Hawks, Mitch's presence was definitely missed. On the offensive end, while Mitch may be limited, his ability to catch alley-oop passes is elite and was badly needed. The Hawks' defensive game plan was to constantly double Randle with Clint Capella, and the strategy worked to throw Randle's game off. Not having a center that can throw down lobs made it difficult to punish the Hawks' double teams. Nerlens Noel is athletic, but he can't catch, and Taj Gibson can catch, but at age 35, he's no longer a lob threat. Mitch's ability to catch passes like an NFL wide receiver and throw them down would have ruined the Hawks' entire defensive game plan. The Hawks themselves showed the value of having a lob-catching big man. In pick and rolls, defenders always drop back to defend the lob, and this allows Trae Young to get off his floaters, which he's excellent at. But for the Knicks, with no Mitchell Robinson, that alley-oop option was not available. Both Noel and Taj are way too limited as players. While he didn't play a second in the series, Mitch's absence really highlighted his value. Now, after a disappointing end to last season, Mitch is headed into a contract year. Over the offseason, it was reported by Mitch's trainer that he was focused on getting stronger. According to Mitch, he's gained 60 pounds since his rookie season. Mitch was listed at about 220 pounds when he was drafted, so this would put him at least 280 pounds. This new strength will help Mitch immensely on the defensive end. He's already a great defender, but one area of his game he tends to struggle with is post defense. For example, Andre Drummond was able to drop 33 points on the Knicks and cook Mitch in the post last season. Drummond isn't even a good post player, but he was able to simply overpower Mitch for strong finishes at the rim. While Mitch is a good shot blocker and perimeter defender, he also needs to be a better post defender if he wants to have a Defensive Player of the Year caliber season. Post-up offense is still a huge part of today's game. Many of today's elite bigs, like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, just to name a few, are excellent post-up players and use post-ups not only to score, but to set up their teammates for easy baskets. In order to be a great post defender, you need to have a strong lower body. If you're strong, it's difficult for post-up players to back you down for a close shot at the rim. For example, Dwight Howard is one of the best post defenders in the NBA, and that's because he's strong as a bull and difficult to move on the block. If offensive players can't get their hook shots and fadeaways from close inside, it's a lot more difficult to score. Now that Mitchell Robinson is a lot stronger, hopefully this means he'll be much better at defending the elite centers. He's already got great size at 7'1" with a long 7'4" wingspan. That extra strength should make him a lot more difficult to score on inside. That new strength should also help Mitchell Robinson on the boards. Mitch is already a pretty good rebounder. Because of his size and length, he's easily able to command position inside and get boards. And if you don't box him out, he could easily grab offensive rebounds and get putbacks. Last season, Mitch ranked 5th in offensive rebounds per game in the entire league. That new lower body strength should help him to become even more dominant on the glass and become a center that averages over 10 rebounds a game. According to Mitchell Robinson himself, he has aspirations to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Now that Mitchell Robinson is bigger and stronger, it should help him to have more of a defensive impact. If he can stay healthy while once again anchoring a top 10 team defense for the Knicks, he should be a serious candidate for the award. While Mitchell Robinson is clearly the Knicks' best defensive player, he can also have a huge impact on the offensive end. Mitchell Robinson's ability to score as a roll man out of the pick and roll will do wonders for the Knicks offense next year. He's one of the league's best pick and roll big men. Last season, Mitch shot an absurd 74% on his rolls to the basket. As stated before, Mitch is a freak athlete. His high vertical combined with his size and length and ability to set solid screens makes him tough to defend on the roll. Unfortunately, Mitch was underutilized in pick and rolls last season. He only averaged about 1 field goal attempt a game as a roll man, which is likely why he only averaged 8 points per game. Having better ball handlers that can attack out of the pick and roll will lead to more baskets for Mitchell Robinson. Over the offseason, the Knicks upgraded the backcourt with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Kemba and Evan are much better scorers and facilitators out of the pick and roll than the Knicks' previous starting backcourt, and with Elfrid Payton no longer in the lineup, the Knicks can play 4 out on offense with Mitch being the only non-shooter in the lineup. This is going to have opposing defenses scrambling, either allow Mitch to catch lob after lob or collapse the D and allow one of the Knicks shooters to get an uncontested 3-pointer. The additions that the Knicks made should certainly not only increase Mitch's offensive opportunities, but also improve the Knicks' overall team offense. While Mitch's ability to catch alley-oops is valuable for the Knicks offense, he needs to get better at free throws. He only shot 47% from the free throw line last year, which is awful. Mitch's trainer has said that free throws are a huge point of emphasis this offseason, so hopefully this is something that he improves. Mitch doesn't necessarily have to be Steve Nash at the free throw line, but just simply knocking down 70% of his free throws would make him not a liability and keep teams from hacking him at the end of games. After getting bigger and stronger over the offseason, the only thing stopping Mitch from having a breakout season is himself. He's gotta stay healthy. While Mitch has been productive in his 3 years in the league, injuries have been a concern. It's a huge question whether Mitch is actually injury prone or he just got unlucky last year with 2 bad injuries. Mitchell Robinson reportedly isn't a full go after the foot injury he suffered at the end of last year, and the Knicks will lean towards being conservative with his playing time at the start of the season. This makes sense as the coaching staff wants to keep Mitch healthy for the full 82-game season and have him ready to perform in the playoffs. The front office could have extended Mitch this offseason, but instead chose to opt in on his 4th-year team option for $2 million. This means Mitch is headed into a contract year, and he has all the motivation in the world to have a career year. Having a Defensive Player of the Year caliber season could lead to a major payday for him. All in all, while the Knicks made some nice additions over the summer, the internal development of guys like Mitchell Robinson will help determine this team's ceiling. If Mitchell Robinson finally lives up to his potential, this is a New York Knicks team that could do some serious damage in the Eastern Conference. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Tell me in the comments if you think Mitch will break out this season. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my next uploads. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.